All right, guys. Wednesday night, same bat time, same bat channel. I texted that to y'all today with little emojis. I didn't know if y'all got that or not. I'm sure Deana did. I didn't know
Yeah.
if you did, Jackson. All right, guys. Well, another week, another time. Let's go ahead and crank up the music, and we'll get started. And find the right button to push. Here we go. Let's crank up this music.
Go with it.
All right. Well, welcome back here, everybody. Wednesday night. So again, same bat time, same bat channel. The NCPreps crew is with you. Deana, we're one short today, but I think that we can pick up for her slack. And we got Mr. Jack right here. How's everybody's week going?
Pretty good. Hard to believe it's week 7, and there's some schools in North Carolina that's probably played a couple of games, and it's just
there's one school.
Weird.
There's one school, one that I'm aware of, only one that has yet to play a game.
Who's that?
Purnell Sweat.
Oh.
And I'm hoping they can get their game in this week against Jack Britt. I seen the AD quoted is that he hopes nothing comes up. I guess if right now they're still on, but you never know. But yeah, it's been tough. Good friend of mine, I used to have a show with him in Fayetteville, Brett Friedlander, ACC writer. He wrote a story for the North State Journal today about how many games and teams have missed games from COVID. So it's still there. I feel like from what I've seen on the news, the numbers and stuff seem to be getting a little better, but still seem to get some teams that are missing games. I know Scotland County came out this afternoon that they're not going to play this week.
Well, I got a phone call. North Stanley, they're needing a JV game tomorrow night. Anybody that needs a JV game, sort of in the middle of the state, they're preferably wanting a home game, but they said that they would possibly be willing to travel if it's not too far. So, we're just it's like we just wait and see who we get the dreaded call from. Help us out. Help us out.
No kidding. So it has been tough. Jack, how's school been this week? How's everything going in your neck of the woods?
School's been ramping up. I'm taking 4 AP classes this semester, and it's starting to get into the thick of things.
So
it's like every day I have a test or quiz every single day.
The fact that you're taking 4 AP classes now, will that mean that come spring when baseball season gets around, you're taking like 4 softy classes?
I wish, but the way that we do it at Richlands is we do it like A-B days. So the 2 AP classes are paired together, so they're year-long classes. So I'm in it for a whole year. So
wow,
I'm actually taking 5 AP classes next semester.
Now, back when I was in school, I remember, we had 6 periods a day. Actually, it became 7 the last 2 years I was there. And I remember by the time I had gotten to 12th grade, I had gotten all of my core classes out of the way except for one English and one social studies. I took those two, and I had 5 other periods to fill. So I was a library assistant. I had 2 PE classes, typing. I mean, I had all these classes just to fill space. And that was the great thing about being a senior, a very easy load.
Jack, an extra PE class, advanced PE,
In fact, I had
that as my last class of the day, so that was pretty cool.
I did too. And then I went from being a library assistant, which is like the easiest class ever in the history of the world, that bled right into lunch, which typically the librarian, she would let us go to lunch early because there's already another lunch already taking place at that time. So I get about a 40-minute lunch and then go straight from there to 2 PE classes. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyway, guys, Jack, you had an interview. You had a big game. Tell us about that big game.
Yeah, so I went to East DUPLIN, Kinston. And, that's a pretty big rivalry around me just because Kinston and Beulaville are kind of combating small town styles, and they really don't like each other. So it was a good game. This was kind of Kinston's first test of the game. They were 5-0 going to the game, but they really hadn't played any good competition. They're very athletic, very fast. I mean, they're just insanely athletic. But East DUPLIN got an interception with 8 minutes left in the game, and had an 18-play drive, just pounded them, 18 plays, scored a game-winning touchdown with 30 seconds left in the game to win.
Outstanding. How's the crowd?
The crowd. So I went to they played Princeton at home week 2, and I was kind of underwhelmed by the crowd. There was a lot of people there, but they really weren't into the game. But Friday when they played Kinston, man, they had a student section first of all, which East DUPLIN doesn't usually have a student section, if I'm being honest. And there was tons of people there. I mean, it was like the whole Lenoir County was there. My mom actually sat on the Kinston side, and the people sitting next to her didn't go to Kinston. They went to North DUPLIN, and they weren't there to cheer on Kinston. They were there to root against East DUPLIN. Like, that's all they were there to do, just root against East DUPLIN. It was hilarious.
Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, East came away with that big win. You talked to Coach Battle Holly afterwards. Let's play the interview. Let's see how it turned out.
We're here with the East DUPLIN head coach, Battle Holly, after they just got a home win against Kinston High School. Coach, this is a pretty big rivalry around here in Eastern North Carolina. The environment was really great. It had a great student section. Talk about how exciting these games get, home games, how the environment is at East DUPLIN.
I'll tell you what, when we have that makes a difference. It's always good to get your students involved, and our kids really like it. Our team really likes it, and it just shows a lot of school spirit.
Yeah, you guys were playing Kinston High School, a very fast and athletic team that mixed in a lot of passing plays and running plays. Talk about what you guys prepared for this week on offense, and if that paid off this tonight at the game.
Well, we were just hoping not to give up some big plays and make them drive, and we give them some big plays as you saw in the first play of the game. But they're well coached. Their guys play hard to the end. They're gonna fight to the end. They're winners, and when you got two teams competing and fighting to the end, a lot of times it's who's got the ball last.
Yeah, and you guys had the ball last tonight. Well, Kinston did, but you guys got a game-winning interception. Before that interception, you guys had, I think, a 16 or 17 play game-winning drive, resulting in a 3-yard touchdown run to win the game. Talk about what happened on that drive.
That's what we do. Where we're good at is straight ahead. We ran the same play, all 16, either to the right or to the left, and and we mixed in a toss sweep here and there, but it was just a big drive. Our guys could have laid down, but they kept fighting.
Yes, sir.
And just happy.
Yeah, enjoy this win and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right. Great job, Jack. He's the son of Coach and royalty. I guess you did know that.
Yeah, so him and my dad are like best friends. So
All right.
Battle Holly is very he is one of the most funny guys talking to. He is awesome. I love him. So great to see them got to win.
His dad, big wing tee guy.
Yes.
If you were a wing team program, you knew who Jack Holly was. Up my way, we really knew who Jack Holly was. Real good friends with our coaches staff at Starmount and several other programs that ran the wing tee. Back in the 90s, I think there are still some teams that may run it, but some variations.
Well, East DUPLIN definitely runs it because they, as he said, I mean that 16-play drive or 18-play drive, whatever it was, they about ran the same play all of the
Well,
every play.
that's the thing. If you're so good, other teams know what you're going to do. They just got to stop it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tarboro and their offense. They're going to run the ball on that Tarboro tee, and a lot of teams have trouble trying to stop it, and they've run it for years down there. Coach Craddock and stuff. So, but it was a good week in football last week.
Sure.
There were some really good games. The
really
Huff
was.
Chambers game was really a good one.
Yeah, I came up for that game. That was tremendous. Enjoyed it. Great atmosphere. They really did a great job at Memorial Stadium in downtown Charlotte. Such a great place. They need to really be considering moving the Shrine Bowl, among other games, to that stadium back to where it belongs. I would like to maybe even see some state championship games. I don't know. I just think it would be a great environment. But, you never know. We'll see. But we did have some other big games as well. Deana, were you able to get to a game?
I went and saw Starmount. They defeated North Stokes on homecoming. You kind of got to go to homecoming. I'm anxious to see one of the best teams in 1A this year coming up Friday, Mount Airy. They come over. Starmount Mount Airy's always had a great rivalry. It's probably the closest rivalry in terms of wins and losses that in this Northwest area. Mount Airy leads the series 27-25. So it's kind of weird. This game always basically led off the season when we were in different conferences. And now, since we're both members of the Northwest 1A, it's now a very crucial conference game. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mount Airy and my good friend Tommy Morrison from Mount Airy that does the radio, and Bowerman on NCPreps. I always like to see him when he comes down from the Granite City. Yeah,
I've always really enjoyed a lot of the people up there in Mount Airy. Always had some great guys. What was our man? I'm getting old and I can't remember names. The old AD that was on the football staff that died a few years ago.
Coach Price, Donald Price.
He was such a good dude.
Yeah.
A lot like him.
Always big supporter. Always thought a lot of Coach Holder.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Holder, I mean, was kind of special. He came down, him and his son, Logan. They came down and visit my mom when she was in the hospital down at Forsyth in her last days. So that meant a lot to me. So, Mount Airy, good football program. It's going to be a tough one over in Boonville this Friday, but, you got to play the game. So
I'm sure to be
but
tough.
I mean, there's been some, with these schedules. I mean, I looked down in Eastern North Carolina and, you got it was a big game, New Bern and Jacksonville, and Jacksonville won that game and then turned around and played Monday. Was it Monday or
Tuesday?
And they lost Rose. So
I had a feeling that was not going to turn out well for them.
What a race that is in that conference. That could be that's a good race there to watch.
That conference is going to beat each other up. Nobody's going to come out of that conference with an undefeated record now. Crazy conference.
mean, I went from thinking Jacksonville could maybe be the number 1 or 2 team in 3A to all of a sudden, they get beat Tuesday. But I had a feeling that they were going to lose that game. It was just one of those ultimate trap games against a really, really good team that is a lot better than that 2-3 record they brought in tonight. Because they had also played a lot of really good teams, and if you look at the games on tape, you can tell that Rose is starting to kind of get themselves back on track, and I think they're going to be a pretty good team, pretty hard to beat in the playoffs.
I think the thing about Rose was at the beginning of the year, I think after week 2 or 3, their quarterback led the state in interceptions, and I think now they're starting to figure out putting the ball on the ground more or running the ball more. I mean, you got running back going to NC State. And I actually think their running back that was not Michael Allen had 3 touchdowns last night. So maybe the running the ball will definitely help Jay Trout. And they played Northside, D.H. Conley, and South Central the next 3 games. So if they can those are 3 winnable games for them to get hot.
Oh, I definitely think they will win them. Hey, we do have some comments here. Our friend John Vestal says South Granville had a bye this week, but my son threw the 2 South Granville touchdowns against Hillside 2 weeks ago. Congratulations to that, John. And then he also said, looking forward to the Southern Durham game Friday, our first conference game. Southern's kind of been a very up and down, hard to read team. Got beat 34-2 to Havelock, who, by the way, I don't think Havelock's that great either.
Yeah, I think
yeah, and then our friend Jeff Banner out of Statesville writes Glenn at West. That should be a good game. West Forsyth, I agree. And let's go ahead and talk about some of these games. I've got them typed up for us so we can kind of go over them.
So I was going to go up to Winston-Salem for a game because it's family weekend at Wake Forest this week. And our hotel is right beside East Forsyth High School. So I was going to go over to East Forsyth versus Mount Tabor because I knew that I was going to – I mean, even though Mount Tabor isn't as good this year, it still would have been an all right game.
They are good.
And,
They're really good.
Yeah, I know. But I think East Forsyth probably would have won. But it
They're
got
still going to play, is it not?
It's what?
They're still playing that game.
They are? My mom told me they got canceled.
If they have, I haven't heard about it. Maybe they have.
I'll have to ask her.
Well,
because she was like, well, dang, the Mount Tabor East Forsyth game got canceled.
And then you have Glenn at West, which isn't far from there.
True. It is homecoming at Richland, so it probably would be the right thing for me just to support my Wildcats.
All right.
Even though it's very hard right now.
Well, let's look at some of these other big games, top games for week 1. In Charlotte, we've got Audrey Cale, who's coming off a tough loss to Porter Ridge, who's 3-0. They're going to play Myers Park. I think Myers Park is one of the top 4 or 5 best 4A teams, especially in the West. Probably 3rd best in the West, maybe. You look at the schedule.
And you look at Charlotte. I mean, football in Charlotte, 4A is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
A gauntlet. Especially
Agreed.
now with everybody in one class,
Yeah.
So,
although word has it that Myers Park quarterback Lucas Lindhoff was injured Friday night. I'm not sure to what degree. I'm not sure if he'll be playing. That will certainly be a tough loss for them. Big game in Raleigh or Wake Forest. Millbrook 5-0, going to Heritage 5-0. Mason Fortune and Wesley Grimes are having a big year for Millbrook. I feel like Millbrook is probably the favorite in this game, but playing on the road against a really well-coached team and another team that's got some talent in Heritage, I think that'll be a tough game. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, man. If Millbrook beats Heritage and then turnarounds the next week and beats Roseville, we may need to start looking at them as a top 3 to 4 4A team in the East. Because I've heard some really good things about them. I haven't seen with my own eyes of them, but I've heard from Raleigh people.
I agree. My only fear with Millbrook is that they've not played anyone to this point. And Heritage hasn't played a very aggressive schedule either. Although I'll caveat that by saying both are really good. It's just a matter of you would really like to see them against someone even better. So we'll wait to see. We do have a couple comments right here. From Mount Tabor Twitter on 9/27. We are okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Appreciate you for setting the record straight.
Yeah, that was gonna be a good game.
Always leave it to Mom to come in and clean things up.
For sure.
All right. Thank you, Miss Leary. You're the best. Let's go back here. Deana, you think anybody will be at this game?
Yeah, plenty. All of Belmont and all the Bowling Springs. Yeah.
And they'll be selling Sundrop there too.
Yeah, Charger Stadium. A lot of smack talking. I can imagine already. Some of the most enthusiastic fan bases in this state. Those two right there.
I agree. Any thoughts on who's going to come away? I think Crest has not looked very strong. South Point has looked really good, maybe against a little bit lesser competition than what Crest has seen. So you never know.
Give me the home team.
Crest, yeah, maybe. Crest, their one loss is a 21-20 loss to Burns, who's really good. South Point lost by 20 to Hickory Ridge, who I think is a top 15 4A team.
Yeah.
Right here we got Porter Ridge, undefeated, going over to Marvin Ridge. That's down in Union County. That'll be a good one. Obviously, we now know that this one here is not taking place. So this will be the big game to go to in Forsyth County. I really think you should consider it. Going to the Village at Clemens, West Forsyth, that's a great place for a ball game. They really do it right. You want to talk about a big student section. They'll have 500-600 kids packed in there. That's always a good environment for football. Forest View at Kings Mountain is an intriguing game to me. Forest View is much better than I think the record shows and that anyone would imagine. But I also think this Kings Mountain team is pretty good as well. Their one loss came to Shelby. Forest View, I believe, lost to close to Burns and maybe I can't remember who. Maybe Crest. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Crest. I'm not sure. Here's a big game in Western North Carolina. Chase going up to Hendersonville.
Hendersonville scores a lot.
Yes, Hendersonville
Chase
does score.
has McCombs. I think his name's Marquise McCombs. Had 300 yards last week.
He
one of the top running back stat-wise in the country.
You know, I had heard about him last year and then kind of got turned on to him the past 2 or 3 weeks when Coach sent me some film, and I think he's the real deal.
Well, he came to one of our VTO combines and ran a really good speed, I believe a 4.5, and won the running back award. So, I mean, the kid, he needs some school. We got plenty of schools around here. I mean, all different sizes, all different levels. They need to get up there and watch him at the Chase High School.
I think
that's the reason maybe where he's located. And he's back real close in Western Carolina's backyard. Furman up there in the South Carolina area. Chase is not that far from there. Gardner-Webb, guys, go up there and watch that kid.
Yeah, I think once some guys see him, I think the offers will start to come in for him. I know good when I see it, and he's pretty good. Ledford at Central Davidson. Ledford went on the road and beat a real good Clinton team last week.
That was impressive. Not a lot of people can go down there and beat the dark horses on their own field.
By 18 points, 16, 18 points. That's a big win.
Ledford quarterback is a VTO alum.
Yeah.
He's solid.
He's very solid, and he can get it done both on the ground. He's a high percentage passer. He's not necessarily a gunslinger, but he's kind of shifty. He'll make you earn it. He's a good decision maker. Pisgah up hosting Franklin. That'd be a good game. Franklin had that tough loss to Tuscola last week. AC Reynolds heading over to Asheville, probably one of the most beautiful stadiums in the state. Asheville has really, if you look at the field and look at the scores, they've really come on strong here of late. They kind of started the year kind of bumpy, didn't look too good. I'm not sure. I need to check in of Coach Radford a little bit more because I think that they have really turned it up here towards the end of the year. West Lincoln had that tough game with Maiden. They're going to Bunker Hill. That's going to be a phenomenal ball game there in the Talbot Valley. Cape Fear at 71st. I'm real high on the 71st team, by the way. They're really tough. Another team I'm real high on, Roanoke Rapids and Northern Nash. Roanoke Rapids is a decent 2A team. I really think Northern Nash is they're really strong. They're in that tough league where you've got three really strong front runners in them, Southern Nash and Rocky Mountain. So they'll all look good. Hoggard at South Brunswick. I was a little surprised to see South Brunswick beat New Hanover 6-3.
Yeah, that was a huge win for that football program. You know, South Brunswick has had some tough times. I mean, they had a great run when Coach Walters was there, and he made them into a really good football team. And it's nice to see South Brunswick at 5-0, not typically winning like that. So it's good to see that down there in Southport.
Yeah, no, I agree. We mentioned Clinton a second ago. Midway of Clinton.
Midway's underrated.
I agree. They got a great quarterback, that's for sure. Great staff. Hertford County at Northeastern. That'd be a very athletic game. I hear an animal. Fuquay at Cleveland.
It's my dog.
It sounds like you're murdering your keyboard, Jack, just to let you know.
Jack, are you typing?
He is killing that keyboard. I can hear it.
I'm on my phone.
Well, what are you tweeting? Doing stuff on Instagram?
I don't know, man.
Or doing homework?
I need to get some.
He's probably playing Fortnite.
Headphones.
Yeah, that's a big game there with Cleveland and Fuquay-Varina. I just Amari and Hampton got the player of the week for last week with that big game that he had against South Garner. You know, really probably one of the front runners to be in. You know, I know, Chris, you guys got the Heisman kind of watch thing for there with Langston and Amarian is the great thing about Amarian is he's coming back off a horrible injury last year. I mean, he had a great start till this spring until a leg injury, and he's totally recovered, and he's even better. So I've been watching a lot of his highlights, and he's proven why he is a 4-star running back and one of the top running backs in the country.
And given what we've seen this year with the Tar Heels, and I've already said it in some stuff I've written for the Observer and just in what I've told Langston, I really think that he can show up at Chapel Hill day one and be a contributor.
They have a lot of, you know, of course, with them, Caleb Hood is doing well, you know, and he got a little banged up at the Georgia Tech game. So Caleb is down there. Camaro Edmonds is from Havelock. He's in the program.
What year is Chambers?
You know, huh?
What year is Ty Chambers?
He's a graduate, so he will be moving on. Okay. So there's some guys in the program, but you know, Marion, Hampton, and they just recently got a commitment, George Petaway from up there at the Tidewater in Virginia. Coach Brown is bringing in 2 4-star running backs, and they both complement each other. Marion's more the power back. George is the speedy back, and you put them in there in the mix with Caleb Hood and Camaro Edmonds, and you got a little bit of variety on. Coach Porter there at Carolina is going to have a stable of backs that he can use and everything. So just, you know, that's really important to get guys like that. And hey, let's give NC State some credit on their big win against Clemson. A lot of North Carolina guys were huge in that game. And I know it's probably Cleveland's rival, Clayton, but I can't think of his name. Carter, I think his name.
Des Carter. Wait,
No, the wide receiver.
Devin Carter?
Devin Carter. Devin Carter.
Dez went. Dez is the one who was from Marvin Ridge. What's his name? The other receiver. They came up the same year.
Yeah, Marvin Ridge. Yeah. So big catch for Devin Carter. You got Drake. His brother. Oh, man, I'm going. My brain's going a little crazy. I'm trying to think. The quarterback at Heritage, Drake. What's his last name? Jack. No. It's the linebacker. Who's the quarterback at Heritage?
Oh, Lex Thomas?
Yeah, Drake Thomas. Yeah. And they had some horrible news a few weeks ago when Peyton Wilson, their all ACC linebacker, announced that he's basically done for a year with another shoulder. And Peyton was a really good linebacker out of Orange. So Saturdays I watch Saturday. I watch our North Carolina guys everywhere. So that we had a big commitment this past week. I'll shout out to Terry Grayson, the Shelby line, Santana Hopper committed to Appalachian State, 4-star defensive lineman. It's probably Appalachian's highest rated recruit that they got. So congratulations on Santana and Appalachian coach up there. So I got off track, so we can go back to high school.
I was looking at film of Hampton, of Amarion, trying to compare him to somebody I've seen in recent years, maybe calling Shrine Bowl games or something. I think he's a lot like an Elijah Hood, just a little bit faster. If you remember Hood at Charlotte Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they both kind of have that same running style, that same physical build, can run over guys. But I feel like Hampton's just got a little bit of an extra gear that he can kind of take and go a little faster.
A little more pop to him.
And a little bit more kind of flexible. Amarian is excellent receiver out of the backfield. I don't know if that was one of Elijah's biggest strengths of catching the ball out of the backfield, because they ran that wing T down there, Coach Odo. So Coach Riley, he uses Amarian everywhere. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
so they're having a great year. They're at 4A, so it's going to be a lot stiffer competition on the way when they get closer to playoffs.
We got this game big up there in North Raleigh, Rollsville, 3-2. I think they're a battle tested 3-2. I think Rollsville's starting to hit their stride. This week off came at a good time for them. I'm going to go take on Coach Ward and Wakefield. I think this Wakefield team is a very strong team. Big game going on down in Ramseur, Southwestern Randolph. They're undefeated, taking on number one team in the 1A, Eastern Randolph. They're undefeated as well. That's going to be a big game. I know you saw Southwest, and they've looked good on film. They haven't played a lot of good teams, but they've looked good against who they played. But Eastern is really athletic. They got one guy, I can't think of his name, that is really, really good. But that's kind of a tough team.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game in Randolph County. It should be a huge crowd because Southwestern, Randolph, Coach Baxter, I believe that's the best start they've had, 5-0.
Probably is.
And
I want to make sure I get this one guy right though. At Eastern Randolph, who I've watched, who is really good. Naheem Lilly. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if you watched him.
Lilly. Yeah,
he's good.
And Eastern Randolph, they're when they moved them down to 1A, I was like, wow, with Coach Cates, his expertise and his long time coaching, Eastern Randolph, they're going to make some noise. So this is a county bragging rights right here.
Yeah,
I believe
and let's not
Southwestern
forget
beat Asheboro.
Yeah, let's not forget Coach Seth Baxter, 7 years prior to Burton Cates getting to Eastern, he was the head coach in between the two Burton Cates.
And I don't know if he still does it, but he was a double duty coach. I know he coached boys basketball.
He's a girls basketball coach.
Yeah, he was basketball and football coach.
And his dad won a state championship at Eastern, I think, before Burton Cates took over. So, a lot of connection between those two families, Coach Donnie Baxter. So, a lot of connection between them. That's going to be an emotional game, I'm sure. Here's a team that is really looking good is Carver. I'm not sure if you've paid attention to them, but they have looked much stronger. How long has it been since we talked about Carver being relevant in football? But it's been a while.
They used to be a very prominent, common team that we talked about or was in a top state championship hunt every year. And then with new schools, Walkertown opening up, you got Winston-Salem Prep close in that area, Atkins, everything Carver kind of, I remember playing them in the playoffs probably about 7 or 8 years ago when Starmount was 2A and a good team. And, we have never played Carver. And, with Coach Keith Wiltz, his when he was there with Carver, and we know the state championship runs they had. And, Starmount fans thought it was huge. We got a big playoff win against Carver. So it's nice to see them in winning 4-2 right now. And they're going to play Community School of Davison, who I saw earlier this year.
They had a big win over Mount Carver. Team. I think they're a good team. I think Community School's a good team. Coach Albert does a good job. A few years ago, now here we are talking about Carver 4-2. I remember a decade or so ago, it had been a bigger deal that they had the 2 losses. They were always so good. So good to see them back in the winning side. Princeton's a team I know you've seen, Jack, playing Eastern Wayne. I think Eastern Wayne's a very solid team, by the way.
I saw Eastern Wayne beat somebody pretty bad that I was kind of surprised, but Princeton, man, that they may have. I obviously compared to all the giant Charlotte schools, but they have one of the best running back duos in the state. Just not necessarily, they don't have like a main guy, but like the duo of Jaden Brooks and blanking on number 3's name. But, both of those guys have close to 10 touchdowns. I think Jaden Brooks is close to 1,000 yards. The other kid's close to 800 yards. So, very exciting team to watch. I hope they make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they are both really, really good programs. And then finally, last game I've got on our list for tonight is Cummings at Bartlett Yancey. Now, Northmore already kind of put their flag in the ground, kind of putting themselves in control of this conference with a convincing win over Bartlett Yancey Friday. Northmore undefeated, really strong looking so far. But Cummings, I've not seen them in person. I've seen some clips here, and I know they got an exciting quarterback. Hadn't had that marquee win yet to kind of really establish themselves as a top team, but I still think that this is going to be an exceptional game.
Well, I'm glad to see Cummings because, Cummings, one of the traditional powerhouses, Coach Johnson there, the tradition, the quarterbacks that you look in the record books in North Carolina and you'd see Cummings quarterback everywhere. But
Donnie Davis.
They've got a really great youngster, 2024 athlete. He runs, he receives the ball. Jonathan Paylor.
He's a top 10 player in the country.
4-star athlete. He's going to have everybody after him. Had a great spring season, and now off to a really good fall season. So it's a name to keep your eye on, Jonathan Paylor. He does not look like a sophomore. He looks almost like his physique is like just a professional football player, just a good track athlete. So colleges are going to be knocking his door down to get his services.
Once the
2024 rankings kind of get kicked into full gear, he'll be a 5-star for sure. Because I'm pretty sure he's ranked as the number 8 player in the country right now.
Hey, it's hunting time. I hear the dogs. Hey, Terry Grayson talks about Donnie Davis, Chucky Burnett. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ernest Tennant. I don't remember Williamson's first
Drew
name.
Williamson.
Drew, I thought it was Drew.
He was in the early 2000s. They had some really good. Dwight Jones was one of the wide receivers back then, and stuff like that.
What was his name? Marcus Mebane, maybe.
They had Donnie Davis. Donnie Davis, he went to Georgia Tech and had a great year. Chucky went to UNC, and his career didn't turn out that great. But Drew Williamson was also a great basketball player, and I think he went the basketball route. Ernest Tennant, I believe he was a lefty, and everything. But
Drew and Bo are great athletes, the Bo brothers. Yep. I was just talking to Donnie Davis yesterday or day before, and in fact, I sent him the link. He may be watching this. I'm not sure, but Donnie has certainly been keeping up with me. Just kind of seeing how we're doing with football. He's in Atlanta, I think, still, but he always wants to know how teams in the 85 corridor are. He always asks me about how A.O. Brown's doing, given that that's the team he lost his final game to there. But he was a great quarterback at Georgia Tech. I certainly remember that back in 92, 91, 92, 93. Great quarterback. All right. Let's see.
Must be a Leary.
I think I might know. That's a good athletic trivia question.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many playoff stories that I wasn't born then, so I don't know.
All right. Well, guys, that's about does it for my list for tonight. Any thing from you, Jack? Any hot topics? How you've been throwing that baseball any?
We had I just came back from baseball workouts today, but fall ended for travel, and I think kind of shutting down necessarily baseball stuff. Basketball workout should be starting soon, so basketball season definitely. I'm getting some tournament schedules starting to get around the corner.
All right. Well, good luck. Keep us up to date with that. Next week we should have Chelsea back. She was at lacrosse practice until 8:30. Glad to hear that. I like it when you guys stay active. Again, school's more important than this, so keep doing what you do. Deana, I'll throw it to you. Any final words of wisdom for us?
Well, if I can keep the dog quiet, I think he wants to be part of the show too. He's trying to take Chelsea's spot tonight. But I just we're lucky. We're still like I said in week 7, and things seem to be heading pretty good, and I can't wait. I mean, it'll soon be October and good fall weather for football, and I go back to spring. It just didn't seem like football because the weather is so much involved in football. I mean, you start in August when it's like 95 degrees, and you can end in December when it's down in the teens. So just everybody keep doing what they're doing, and like if you need any help finding a game, just reach out to me and Chris, and we'll post on Twitter and our
people out there looking too.
So just everybody stay safe.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that does it again for another week. Appreciate everybody. Still got a bunch of people logged on here watching, so I appreciate you guys. Most everybody on Facebook, although we do have one person on YouTube watching, and John Vestal gave us a heart. So, John, we appreciate that. And here we are, 45 minutes. Only had one interview, but we still made it 45 minutes. That's always my goal, by the way. I try to make sure we got enough to last 45 minutes. I think an hour might be too long. An hour and a half.
You never know. The closer we get to the playoffs, I mean, the matchups are, more important, some bigger matchups and stuff. So,
I can't wait. Well, I don't want to wish it away too fast. John, we appreciate your great show. I'll tell you one thing, being this far detached from everything, though, it's been hard on me. Starting to think I need to find me like a little log cabin somewhere out in the middle of the woods. Somebody let me build a shack on their property in North Carolina so I can move back here this season. Deana, you got a lot of land. Maybe I can put a single back here.
Yeah, I've got about 5 acres. But I'm more up in the western part. I don't know. You might need to get somewhere centralized.
Well, I don't know. I did go and have some. I'll give you 1.5 guesses on what I had for dinner tonight.
Whataburger.
Well, no, I'm
not. When you was up here, you had to go.
No, tonight.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, let's just say that I went to a knockoff of my favorite restaurant.
The Japanese restaurant? Yeah.
Man, I have been to 3 different ones.
Chris will have to be somewhere near a very good Japanese steakhouse.
Nothing compares to what I had going on for me in Tokyo, in Winston-Salem. The best. Them guys were the greatest. I missed that more than anything. That and the Whataburger and being able to buy Sundrop at the local gas station. Other than that, though, we're good. Well, anyway, guys, that's all for me. If that's all for y'all, let's call it a night and let's do it again. Same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Thank y'all.
See y'all next week.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Go with it.